Yes, it is I, your humble host, Bill Hatch the Third, coming to you live from the palatial home studios of Bald Spots Productions here in the beautiful city of Santa Ana, California. Joining me in studio, as per the usual, is my friend, my brother in Christ, the disembodied voice of Rudy.
Hi, everybody, I love you all. Waka, waka, waka with the Lord.
And joining us from a more than acceptable safe social distance is my guest for today, Mary Elizabeth Jackson.
Yay.
Where are you calling in from, Mary?
I am near Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville. I used to live in Clarksville.
Oh, okay. That's just like a stone's throw, about an hour away.
Yeah, about an hour away. Yeah, my father was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and so we lived there on the Clarksville side. Yeah, it's really funny. You get a Kentucky address, but physically you're living in Tennessee. So,
okay, yeah. That I didn't know. That's pretty funny. I did not know that. That sounds very.
Yeah, Fort Campbell sits right on the border, and so there's a split right in the middle of the base of the fort, and half the people live in Tennessee and half the people live in Kentucky. And but they all get Kentucky addresses.
Well, that sounds like a very southern thing to do. Have you lived somewhere else? Then give you another address. So
that's right. Yes, it is a very southern place. But anyway, to get started, I'm asking a new opening question. Although it's not really new, I've done it a few times. What are you reading currently?
Oh, that's good. I have a couple of books I've been looking at to start, but I was working on Bonnie McBird. I don't know if you know who she is, but she lives actually in London. She lives near where, she writes, I'm going to show you the book real quick, okay? Because I have it right here. This is one of her smaller ones. Well, no, I don't have it. I thought it was that. Anyways, it is called a child's gift, a Christmas gift. That's what it's called. I'm sorry. And it's a novella. And so Bonnie McBird writes Sherlock Holmes. She has a whole series. Oh. Really good. And she lives right around the corner from where Sherlock Holmes lives. So she's like living the life.
Okay. I have a cousin who wrote a Sherlock Holmes book, an officially sanctioned Sherlock Holmes book.
Nice.
Yes. I don't remember the title of it right off, though. But
I wonder if they know each other.
That's entirely possible. He lives in Missouri, though. So.
Yeah, but those Sherlockians, they tend to really migrate toward each other. They do a lot of they do big events every year where all the Sherlockians come to London. They come to New York.
Huh. That's interesting. I had no idea it was such a tight-knit family.
Yes. Isn't that funny? Yes.
So, okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's see. What is Christmas Gift about?
Well, it's actually it's like 2 or 3 stories in one, and so it's New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve, and Sherlock, is a hermit. He doesn't like to go out and socialize. Right. So Watson drags him out into the street in front of their apartment, and as soon as they come out on the street, there's a woman carrying a baby, and a man comes up and tries to kidnap the baby.
Oh, wow.
So the game's afoot from the very beginning of the story, as they say in Sherlockian world. And then there is a side story or an interconnected story going on. A very wealthy man whose son was off at college or off at studies. He gets kidnapped, and they're trying to figure out why. So they've got 2 cases they're working.
Oh, okay. So interesting. Christmas and kidnapping. Seems to be the theme there. That's they go together, like turkey and stuffing.
I know, right? Yeah, and there's another author. Her book I've been reading too. Ora Nadrich is her name, and she's really a voice of the time for the mindfulness world.
Okay.
And like where we are right now in AI and, our, if you want to call it our human information on the planet and, how to survive the time we're in. So that's
Right,
I
right.
cannot remember the title because it's downstairs. I know that sounds terrible, but if you just look up Warren Nadrich,
Warren Nadrich.
yeah,
Okay.
OA, yeah. So,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
yes.
Rudy's my co-host, by the way. He's my Ed McMahon.
You know
Okay.
what? I seen a preview of because you guys were talking about Sherlock Holmes,
Mm-hmm.
and another guy was actually kissing him.
Ooh.
Remember, Bill? I told you that
No.
they showed Sherlock Holmes. He's that white, skinny guy that I guess he's playing him now, and they actually showed another man kiss him. It was a preview thing, and it was Sherlock Holmes. Do they know about that, or do they hear about that, or do they object that? Because I saw.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes was never a sexual character in any sense of the word. Because
He never dated. They never there's never been a story that I know that's been a love interest for him. So, I have no idea. That's kind of interesting.
He's always been that would be very against character, because he's always been kind of a little on the spectrum.
Yeah, because I saw that and I go, what? Why would they do that? It has no matter what he is in his personal life.
Yeah, well,
why would we have to know if he,
Well, no, it's not. It's not that we have to know. It's that it's out of character.
Yeah.
And so that would be definitely taking liberties with the character. Because he just don't do that.
Yeah, just there's a preview that showed that. Look into it. It could be a mistake. It could have been something else. And then they put out Sherlock Holmes' name. So, but yeah, like the skinny guy that looks like Sherlock Holmes, or I guess he is.
Benedict Cumberbatch plays him on one TV series.
Yeah, and somebody kissed him.
We'll have to ask that. So now
we got to solve that problem. I'm kidding.
In Sherlockian terms, the question's afoot. There you go.
Yes, the question is afoot. But onto mindfulness and AI. What are your thoughts on that? I actually use AI in my day job, and my new business is an AI supported business automation system. And I definitely have used ChatGPT. I find it to be fascinating stuff, and it's interesting what you can get the thing to print out if you ask the right questions. But what are your thoughts on the use of AI today?
Well, I think it's very interesting. I do. I think, like all technology, we've got pluses and we've got minuses. Is there echo?
No, there's a buzz on my end, and I don't know what it is. It might be my water. My water pipes make funny noises every now and again.
No. Okay, so you have a ghost.
Yes.
What is called that? Yeah, we're going to make a mystery here.
Yeah, that's definitely the water.
Yeah. I think it's a very interesting subject, and I think, like all technology, we've got pros and cons to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know that I think it's very fascinating, all the things you can do with AI. Now, I have not used the Chat GPT on Clubhouse. I've been invited several times and just haven't, it's not been a time where I could jump on and learn more about it. But I think with mindfulness is directly, it's about connecting us to ourselves and being in the moment, so that we're not in the future, we're not in the past, but we're completely always in the present. And so that's not easy for a lot of people. And even teaching it to children can be challenging. But the benefit of it is that if you can just be in the moment of where you are, then there's less stress. Because we're not worrying about the past or fretting over the past. We're not worrying about the future. We're not worrying about things that are coming up. We're not in fear, like what we, like how through the pandemic. Her focus of the book also is through the pandemic, like what happened to us how we're coming out of it. How do we survive now? And definitely, because so many things are more in the mainstream vocabulary than they have been before, like take, for instance, mental health, you know, seeing somebody, having a better mental health space. That conversation is just for in my world, and maybe yours too, it's everywhere, right? And I've had plenty of conversations, interviews about it, done things, events about it. It's one of my focuses with kids is helping them get to better mental health space using different tools. And part of that is being mindful of what they're thinking and feeling and what's happening for them in the moment so that they can get past where they are. Now that part takes an actual human being to do that, So.
Yeah, I have both a niece and a nephew on the spectrum. Different spots on the spectrum. And I know you do advocacy work in all of that kind of thing. Getting onto what you do, but while I'm thinking about it, how can people reach out to you?
They can reach out to me. They can go to my website, www.maryejackson.com, and there's a way to contact me. Yeah, it's just my name. That's my website. At the bottom is a way to contact me. My email is there. And, if somebody has questions about advocacy, their child with needs, what to do in the beginning, lots of those things I can answer because there's a focus there for that as well. But also, how can you, if you're interested in making your library more sensory friendly, if you're interested in, if you'd like to try to see if your library can implement like a sensory room for your kids, contact me because I've done it here. And then I've consulted with libraries across the country about it. It's really great. April 2nd is Autism Awareness Day, and it falls on a Sunday. But so April 22nd here, we're doing an event at our library where I'm putting together different organizations for different disabilities. Maybe somebody transitioning out, maybe somebody with Down syndrome. Whatever organizations we can get to come are going to join us, and then we're going to have live music and we'll have book reading by authors and stuff. But, part of the purpose of that is to allow people to come in and ask questions and actually talk to somebody with the organization, if they're needing help. We also have a special area in the library that's for parents and families. It's a resource area. So that you've got information there. So
I'm going to have to send my brother over to your website because my nephew was just diagnosed. I don't remember all the specific numbers and details, level 3 something, but he's nonverbal. But he's a very friendly little boy. But yeah, yes. And they're actually going to have to move from the little town they're in of 16,000 so he can get his ABA therapy, I think it was. Yeah, because the town just doesn't have it, and so they're moving to a bigger town. And,
how old is your nephew?
I think he's 3.
Oh yeah, that's the age. So many children get diagnosed, and yeah, my guy is level 1. He was level 2, but we've done tons of therapies with him since he was 18 months old. And so, yeah, they definitely need to go wherever they can get the therapy, because even though raising a child with needs, it really does call for a lot of sacrifice in a family. Because especially if you have a child who requires all kinds of therapies and appointments and, different schools, and maybe you have to drive, it creates a lot, and the whole family really needs to be involved. And they need to take what a child is learning in occupational therapy or physical therapy or speech therapy and then apply it at home to reiterate that and empower that. And I've been through it with 2 of my 3 kids. So what I can say to you is that it'll be worth every hour and moment and money that is spent on their child because of the difference that it will make in their child's life. And when you first have a diagnosis of a child or any diagnosis period, I don't care what it is, even for ourselves, the greatest thing we can ever do is educate ourselves, because then we become empowered and we go from being a victim to a victor in the situation we're in. And we teach our children how to do that. And it's really important. And being an advocate, it's gone into so many other areas than just, like I said, the library. Last year we did I put together an art exhibit at the Nashville Public Library. We had 8 artists who all had special needs, and we featured them, and the symphony came, and it was, just a really beautiful celebration to see into the window of the eye of the creativity of the brain and in the world of a child or a human being with challenges. It's really beautiful, but just being able to, I had to, my oldest, when she went to college, she had to have surgery. Like, it was not planned. And she went to college on crutches and in a wheelchair. And the college was private and was not ADA compliant, because private colleges don't have to comply with federal law. So I had to go in and advocate for her. And they built a ramp for her at her dorm, and they allowed some other things to help her. But if you don't know these things, you don't know to go do this for your child.
Right.
So, that's where education or getting certified really comes into play. And I really didn't have, I kind of look at it, I didn't have much of a choice, Bill. I had to get certified because all 3 of my kids had needs. My middle daughter was abused in the school system when she was 5. So then I went and tried to change law in the state. So I had to get certified because I needed to know what my rights were, what my kids' rights were, and be able to empower my children, but also to empower me, so I didn't feel like a victim of the situation. How can I change this so this never happens to another child? So,
yeah, that's wonderful. As an outsider looking in, it's funny, some of the things you're saying, even though there's certainly more intensity and specific things that need to be done, in many ways it sounds just like what it takes to make any child successful.
Absolutely.
Parental involvement, a good school that knows what they're doing, and again, parental involvement. Yeah, a friend of mine from church the other day was saying he was on a parent teacher call, and the parents basically said, "Hey, from 9 to 3, he's your problem." And I'm just like, that is a kid being set up for failure, and it's just,
and the teacher too, because
he was really depressed about it.
Yeah, that's really sad because we have these children. They are our responsibility, and you need to work as a team. So when a parent calls me, I get calls like right before school starts a lot of times. What should I do? We'll go and interview your school. Like, I'm looking at having to do that this next year about a different school I'm looking at for my son. But I need to go in and interview. Hey, can you handle him? Can you provide for him what he needs, what we need as a family? Can we work together as a team? How are we going to communicate? How will our relationship be? So all of that is very, very important. And you have the right to go in and ask and check and see what's available for your child. But yeah, it does take a team, and the parents need to be involved. And it's the difference between a success and failure, like you said, of a child.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely interested to learn more. Being a family member, granted extended family, but I love my niece and nephew very much. My other brother with his daughter, my niece. I don't know any of her level information, but she talks in short bursts, and but just the sweetest girl. She is in height. I know she's 16. She's 16, but I don't know where she's at in her schooling. But they did a lot of things for her to make sure that she got what she needed, and my brother's a doting father, so yeah. But yeah, what else, where else do you put your efforts in with your advocacy work?
Oh, with advocacy work. So
Since we're on the topic.
yeah, no, it's fine. I actually I've been doing more speaking. Most of it's been virtually, but in helping families, what I'm doing is teaching how to be able to help all children. Not just children on the spectrum, but there are those times I do specify advocating for your child and what you need to do, what your rights are, what your child's rights are, how to empower families to be healthier, how to apply more positive parenting, because you can't parent a child with needs the same way you do a typical child. It's two different worlds. And then I know I'm going to be I have to videotape myself an hour. It'll go out in September for the U.S. Nanny Conference, and I'm actually going to be speaking. I'm excited about it. I'll actually be speaking about raising the highly sensitive, intuitive, and empathic child.
Okay.
Because, and I'm really excited about, adding this into my work that I'm doing. There's a lot of, when you have a child with sensory issues, well, we're all sensory. Okay. I mean, that's how we take the world in. Right. So then you have a child who's born with I don't want to call it disability. They're born with either extra chromosome, like, Down syndrome, or they are ASD, autism syndrome. Sorry. And so their sensory experience of the world is very, very heightened. But if you have a child who does not have a diagnosis like that, but they may have heightened awareness of their sensory, just their senses may be off the charts, but they don't really fall in anywhere. You know what I mean? On the spectrum. So those children are experiencing life very much differently than a child who has a calm nervous system, a calm, the brain is functioning like it's supposed to be, that kind of thing. But because there's such a varying degree in there, a lot of this applies to just almost every child. I'm convinced our middle schoolers and high schoolers, most of them, if there's not mental illness there, because there is mental illness that runs in families, it's there. But for a lot of kids, I really feel like if they could understand themselves and their sensory experience and their intuition and being an empath, and that they're picking up on their friends' emotions, thoughts, and feelings, and it may not be theirs, they'd have a much easier time in life. There would be less depression, anxiety. There'd be, I think, less bullying. If we taught kids tools so that they could go, okay, is this mine? What I'm experiencing right now, is this mine, or is this like I just went into a room of a bunch of kids where our emotions are all over the place anyway, and can I just let this go and just really, what am I feeling right now in the moment? Am I okay? Am I okay? I think all of that's super important.
Yeah, for sure. Mental health. We have a soft spot for mental health around here. I end the show with 988, the suicide mental health crisis hotline here in the States, and we talk about it quite a bit. I myself struggle with major depression and ADD, which is an interesting combination. But yeah, I grew up being in the top 1% of the class, and that's a different place that needs help, because the average classroom is built for the middle child, the child in the middle of special needs to just give me a book and I'm cool.
Right.
And the kids on the other end, on the ends, tend to get lost.
Yeah.
So there was definitely more than one time when I got lost, and thankfully my parents were there to help with that, because they were definitely involved in my education, especially in high school. We homeschooled. So yeah, and that was a great experience for me, but not for my just younger brother. I'm the oldest, so I have two younger brothers.
Okay.
But but yeah, my other brother, the one in Oklahoma, he didn't care for it one bit, and he needed the environment, and but yeah, so what else are you working on? What the way you answered when I asked about more advocacy work made it sound like there's something you want to talk about.
Well, I just wear several hats. I didn't know I was going to, but I ended up doing that. I'm an author,
Yes.
and my publisher passed away last year. Unfortunately, I have a new publisher, so we're revamping the book. So I've been very today I have to send illustrations in, but I have a middle grade reader called Cheers from Heaven. I can't wait for it to come out. It is an it's a redemption book. I'm excited about it because there's lessons in there. There's education woven in with a story, and then I have my younger series for littles, and the focus there is teaching them that no matter how they come into this world, they're still perfectly made. It doesn't matter how they show up. So I think it's important to do that from the beginning and get them on that positive language. I've got 2 live stream shows I co-founded, and we're still doing them online. One's an author show, Writers Corner Live Network. The other's Special Needs TV. And then I started working since October with a PR company, and I have a show on there called Cover to Cover. It's a podcast. So we cover everything. Yeah, pretty excited. And we're getting ready to start a women's empowerment one. I'm excited. But I manage my girls. They are singers, and they have a music career, and they've got 2 songs that are out on the world and Euro charts that have gone to top. So
have them on sometime.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they're called
I've
Sisters.
done music here before.
Oh, fun. Yes, that'd be fun. They'd love it.
That's very cool. Yeah, you definitely wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling. A lot of sleepless nights for that. Yeah. But what's the name of the book that's coming out?
The middle grade reader is called Cheers from Heaven.
Cheers from Heaven. Okay.
And it's 8 to 12, 13, 14, depending on the level of child's reading. And then the series for the littles is it's the Poolicious series. So it's Perfectly Precious Poolicious. And
Poolicious.
Poolicious. Goes from newborn to about age 6, 7, going into kindergarten, first grade. Yes. So usually
if people were interested in getting those books, are they available on your website, or is this something you're really focused on libraries?
Well, both. I mean, they'll be able to get them on Amazon and everywhere you can get them. They're not, if you go on Amazon right now, they're still there. Mm-hmm. And you can purchase them now. There's still copies there, but we're revamping them. So when they come out, Cheers will have a completely different cover, and I'm not even sure what the other covers are going to look like because my publisher's working on it. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I've got a couple other books. So, I've got to get these out before I can get the other books out. So,
okay, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm in the very early stages of developing my first book. I've had so many authors, and few of them have given me a hard time because I haven't written anything yet. Well, I used to. When I was in middle school, I wrote a lot, and but I haven't really since then. And I'm sure my mother has those old works somewhere in somewhere in the house, but maybe we'll find out. But
you should do it.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story, Bill. Everybody has a story. And if you don't write it, it'll never get done. I mean, my career didn't start till I was close to 50.
Oh, wow.
In this world, in the writing world. And so my motto is just do it. Yeah, I know it's Nike's, but I use it too. And, I just know that if you don't do it, it just never gets done. I mean, I wrote the first Poolicious book and sat on it for 2 years because I thought, I'll just keep it for my children. Who wants to read what I wrote? And, God kept poking at my shoulder, and he just kept saying, you got to do something with this. And so finally I threw my hands up. Fine. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. So I just started knocking on doors. And, you know, when you surrender to what your purpose is, then your doors start to open up. But you got to listen. You got to be willing to listen.
Right. Yeah. And act. You know, you have to, you know, sometimes you don't know what to do. I mean, there's so many resources out there now. This show being one of them. I'd love to have more actual publishers on the show to talk about their end of things, but pardon me. But I've had a ton of authors, both traditionally published and self-published, you know, talk about what they did to get started, and it's always great to hear different people's viewpoints on it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wow, we don't have much time left. I know you got to get going here in a minute.
About 5 minutes, and then
About 5 minutes. Okay. What was the first resource you found when you went knocking on doors?
Okay, this is kind of an interesting story. So I naively went to the headmaster where my daughters were in school, okay, because he was published, but he was academically published. So in the publishing world, you know, there are publishers who do multi-genres, but, you know, usually you've got it's like different islands. You know, that's the fantasy island, and there's the horror publisher island, and, you know, so everyone is. So I read him my manuscript, and it went straight over his head, and not in a mean way. I'm not being ugly or anything. It's just that he academically, we're talking children's books and academically. You know, so anyways, he said, you know, I want to introduce you to somebody. He teaches violin here at the school. I think you guys would really hit it off. And so he introduced me to Thornton Klein, and we hit it off. I showed him everything I had written during that time, because when this book came was after I had gone through. I had my third baby very late in life. He was a surprise. We almost called him OMG, but, you know. And it was after he survived and I survived, and I was sitting there in this beautiful place of gratitude for I'm alive, he's alive, and the manuscript came. It was just a download, like instantly, the whole story. I was like, whoa. So I wrote it all down. I was nursing him. He was about 5 months old. And but then all of a sudden, all this stuff just started coming out. So I was writing. And it was really funny because a lot of it was rhyming. I was like, I can't stop myself. What is happening here? Right. And so anyways, I showed Thornton everything, and he goes, you know, I really like this one right here. Can I write 10 songs for this? And I was like, sure. You know, I had no idea, right? But that's so cool. That was my thought. And so in a week, he wrote 10 beautiful songs for the book. And then the art teacher at the school, I said, hey, Alice, she's one of my neighbors, actually. I said, hey, would you like to do some drawings maybe for me? You know, and next thing I know, we have a book. And then he had already published 8 books, Thornton did. And so we started pitching. And so by August of 2016, we had a contract. 2017, February, we released. And then we wrote the next 2 together. And then we have this middle grade reader. And then we have an adult book that we're going to get published soon as well. But we co-wrote the first song that my daughters put out called Open Wind. My oldest daughter, Thornton, and I wrote that together. And so he's got a lot of number 1 hits out on the World and Euro charts. And he wrote Love is the, what is the, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now, Thornton, I'm sorry. But Gloria Gaynor and Engelbert Humperdinck recorded this song. Love is the Reason. Yes. So Thornton wrote it. Yes.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So that's how it happened. It's kind of an interesting story. But
who eventually published it?
A publisher in Texas, Black Rose Writing.
Black Rose Writing. Okay.
Yeah. So we're with them for 2 years, and then left, and then went with a publisher, but then the pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. So that she just quit. It was like, what? You can't quit in a pandemic. And then I found Jim Christina with Tuscany Bay Books, and then he unfortunately passed away last June on Father's Day. And then now we're with Norns Triad, Norns Triad Publications, and they're a group of women, and just amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's not just a matter of knocking on doors, but knocking on the right doors. And sounds like you knocked on the right door, because you got.
Well, you just got to keep
hooked up.
You got to keep knocking until you find a door that opens, right?
Yep. So okay, let's see. I guess that's about all we've got time for, really. As I ask all my guests, do you have any final words for the nice people?
Well, I'm gonna. Okay, so this may sound really cliche, but everybody does have a story, and everybody's story is important, and you need to pour into yourself, self-care and love, and don't give up on yourself. And if you have a dream, it doesn't matter what your age is, you need to follow it. You need to at least try, so you can say, okay, I tried. At least I tried.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, at least I tried. And I think we accomplished having a good show today. So I want to thank you for being on. You're a wonderful guest, and you're always welcome here. So anytime we're when the next set of books definitely when the next set of books comes out, I definitely want to speak with you again and hear more about that. And I will definitely send my brother your website information, which is maryejackson.com, right?
Yeah.
And
social media too, with the same name. So.
Yeah. Okay. And so it sounds like we've got a show. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Be safe out there. Remember to wash your hands, and stay tuned for the ending credits.
God bless you and your family, ma'am.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Are you tired of being bogged down by tedious paperwork and repetitive tasks? AutomateU.co can give you the edge you need to succeed and stay ahead of the competition. With our innovative automation solutions, you can save time, reduce costs, increase efficiency, and grow sales across your entire business. Revolutionize your business with AutomateU's innovative automation solutions. Stay ahead of the competition and boost your bottom line with streamlined processes, increased efficiency, and enhanced sales growth. Try AutomateU.co today and start achieving your business goals faster than ever before. Get your 30-day free trial now at AutomateU.co.
Thank you all for tuning in. This has been a presentation of Bald Spots Productions. I would like to thank my producer, my beloved mother, Eileen Hatch. I, of course, am your humble host.
I'd really like to thank my Ed McMahon, Rudy Corlew.
Yes.
I'd especially like to thank my special guest for this very special episode, Mary E. Jackson. Support the show if you feel so led over on patreon.com. We're known as Bald Spots Pro. Don't you dare miss YWL Online. You can find us on Facebook and wherever fine podcasts are offered. Be sure to tune in next time when my special guests will be Mitch Creighton and Joy Fakema, unapologetically Joy. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Subscribe, follow, whatever it is you've got to do to kick that algorithm into gear and help us reach more people. If you or someone you know needs support now, call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org. 988 is the suicide and mental health crisis lifeline here in the States.